Hello, vinyl community people. It's Mike MGK Boston back with another video on a Saturday. Nothing fancy today. A week ago today, it was torrential rain on and off, so you really couldn't do anything. So I went to my local shop, and this place is a total disaster. She buys collections, this old German lady, and nothing's priced, and she's just kind of really far out. But once in a while when I'm in there, I find some really great stuff. And last Saturday I did get lucky because she just got a big collection, and it was a lot of really classic country and western stuff that, you know, if you watch my videos, I like to dig deep into the deep cuts as it goes. And yeah, I got lucky. So anyway, the way it works in this store, you just kind of come up with your pile of stuff. You kind of know in your mind, oh, medium price Discogs is what it is. And she doesn't seem to monitor that, so everything's always, I always seem to get it 20% less than what I expect to pay, which is always a nice surprise. But yeah, my friend Stan, who lives local here, he doesn't have a channel, but he watches my videos. Stan can comment on the antics of Eleni, the owner. She's quite something. Anyway, I'm featuring another shirt from the MGK Summer Collection. Apparently, I'm an awesome dad. It's like a normal dad, but it's much cooler, and it's in the shape of a cooler, right? So yeah, that's pretty cool. Hey, like the fawns. So, all right, so you've been warned. A lot of country heavy here, country-centric today. This is fantastic. Tom Paul Glazer, formerly of the Glazer Brothers. This is his first solo album from 1973, recorded at his studio in Nashville called Hillbilly Central. He operated way outside of the boundaries of traditional Nashville country and western music. And this solo debut is just, it's great. I've played this already 3 times. Every song is good on this. If I was to pick just one, maybe Mr. Lonesome would be my favorite on this, but man, it's really, really good. Yeah, and Bad Cowboy's another one on here. So the whole outlaw movement, you could say he was at the forefront, if not the guy that initiated it. Again, with his studio that him and his 2 brothers, when they split, I think somehow when he was operating with the Glazer Brothers, they did backup singing for people in the early 60s, and then they had a bunch of their own records. They're far different than this, more traditional, like if you would, top 40 country hits at the time, but this is definitely a far cry from that. This 1973 release right here, as you can see, it's just called out the Glazer Brothers, but the name of the record is really Charlie. That's probably the weakest cut on the album, is the title track. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's listenable, and it's pretty short, actually. So there's Tom Paul. It's big. I don't know if that's a Fleetwood or what he's driving there, or a Lincoln. I don't know, but it's a big car, and there he is. So yeah, this debut, really, really, really great. He was on MGM at the time. Yeah, you can see he's on the MGM label right there. So that's Tom Paul Glazer, Charlie. So as I mentioned, the outlaw movement, this is a record I already had. So this is all I knew of Tom Paul Glazer, was when he did this album in 1976 with Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, and Jesse Coulter. And there's Tom Paul right down there in the corner. And there, the headliner, sort of, if you will, for this record was Waylon Jennings. So mentioning Waylon, yeah. So this is Waylon Jennings. Whoop, my tripod here. Technical difficulties. Yeah, so Waylon Jennings recorded this album in, I want to say 1973. Same year as that debut from Tom Paul Glazer. This is called Honky Tonk Heroes, and it was recorded right there at Hillbilly Central Studio in Nashville. There they are in the studio with a bunch of the studio musicians, I suppose. So yeah, you can see right here, it's produced by Waylon Jennings and Tom Paul Glazer. You can see right there. There's Tom Paul's name. So yeah, and there's the front. There's really nothing on the inside here, as you can see on RCA. So yeah, some of the tracks on this one, of course, the title track, Honky Tonk Heroes, Old Five and Dimers Like Me. Most of the songs on this are written by Billy Joe Shaver, who was also a very big proponent of the whole outlaw movement, big part of it. Yeah, he wrote a lot of songs on this. Ride Me Down Easy's another Billy Joe Shaver. And Ain't No God in Mexico, that's a good one too. This plays like a, it's like it's honky tonk, but it's got a real rock edge to it, and I really dig it. I'll probably listen to that later. I haven't pulled that out in a while. So getting sidetracked. So it was a triple bill for me that day on the Tom Paul Glazer stuff. This is his band. He's simply called the Outlaw Band. So should have done this before, but here we go. So yeah, this was the follow-up to that debut. This is in 1975. Again, he was still on the MGM label. What do you got on here? The Wild Wild Side of Life. I can't remember. Time Changes Everything. Good-Hearted Woman. You can see here, yeah, that was a Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson composition right there, and he covers it and does a great job. So there he is. It's Paul Glazer and his Outlaw Band. And there they are right there on the back, right there. Looks like someone's having a smoke. So yeah, excellent band, excellent. He was a great singer, really, really good singer. Just kind of like I don't know how to describe it, kind of like a gritty, it's not fancy vocals here or anything like that, but it just, his voice, his tone, it just goes with the songwriting. And yeah, he's an outlaw, man. What are you gonna do, right? Lastly, in that trio, Paul Glazer, and second only to that first debut solo album. Again, this is just called Paul Glazer and his Outlaw Band. This is really, really awesome. Almost plays like a Waylon Jennings album on the opening track. You Can Have Her. That's a really good one. It's actually the longest cut on this, clocking in at 5 minutes, 28 seconds. And he does a medley kicking off side 2. It's called the It Ain't Fair medley. And it's in 3 parts. Look What Thoughts Will Do, Pretty Words, and It Ain't Fair. Really great. He's looking a little dapper there, well, with the different cowboy hat on the front there with his shades. And it's Paul Glazer and his Outlaw Band. If you don't know Paul Glazer and you like old country and western, my friend Randall Nelson, he could comment on that. I'm sure he knows some Paul Glazer. I know he likes a lot of that vintage stuff like I do. So drop a comment, Randy, and let me know what you think of Tom Powell. Okay, moving away from the country and western for a moment. It's Barry Goldberg. It's Two Jews Blues. It's just Barry Goldberg, and because there's a whole bunch of guests on this one. So Barry Goldberg, keyboard, piano player. There he is right there on the back, and singer. He's a good friend of Mike Oldfield and Mike Bloomfield. Getting my mics mixed up. Mike Bloomfield. There you go. I spit it out. So, you know, of course, Mike Bloomfield, you know, from playing with Al Cooper and Stephen Stills on the Bloomfield Cooper Stills Super Session album. Came out right before this. This is in 1969, and of course, in Electric Flag too, these guys. And anyway, I saw this and I'd never seen it before. The jacket was in just terrible condition. I had to do some taping here on the bottom, but then I saw this little note on the back, and I read that, and it said, minor hiss on track 1, but remainder plays near mint. So I was like, well, I'll take a chance for $250, and that's what I paid for this, and it does play near mint. It's in perfect condition, I would say. The sleeve, I don't know, it looks like it's been dragged not through one war zone, but several war zones. But sometimes you get the record home and you clean it, and it's just like that. So if I hadn't seen that little sticker in the corner, I would have left this in the bin. But I'm in the store and I'm reading a review for the album, and I'm like, man, I'm going to take a chance on this because this sounds like it's totally in my wheelhouse, and it is. And it's Two Jews Blues, Barry Goldberg, and others. Oh yeah, so the other personnel on this, you got Charlie Musselwhite on harmonica on a couple of tracks. Dwayne Allman plays lead guitar on a couple of tracks on this. And again, Mike Bloomfield plays lead guitar on a couple of tracks on this. So Jimmy the Fox is a really good one to look up on this. On the Road Again, that's a John Sebastian song. And Maxwell Street Shuffle is really good too. So if you like blues, this is excellent. And it's Barry Goldberg, Two Jews Blues. Oh yeah, I got to show that label on. It's pretty cool. It's on the Buddha label. Really cool logo here. I've never seen this label before. Buddha Records right there, and there's the Buddha or whatever that thing is in the middle. That'd be a nice tchotchke for my man cave. I need one of those things. All right. What am I saying? I got my friend right here. My Buddha right here. Yeah. He says, "Hey Gary, how you doing?" All right. So, all right. Yeah. So this is like a compilation of the 4 releases from the Blues Project, which featured, of course, Al Cooper on vocals and keyboards, lead guitarist Danny Kalb also on vocals. So what this does, plastic. There's the 4 albums right there, and I have all of those. Now mine are not in great condition. This is just a compilation of songs from those 4 albums from the Blues Project, and They, of course, hailed from New York City in the mid-'60s, and that was Al Kooper's first group. And around that time when he played with Bob Dylan on, I can't think of the famous song that he did. He played keys on, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, that's beginnings of Al Kooper, if you will. So there you can see the personnel all listed here that I just mentioned, a couple of guys like Danny Kalb and Al Kooper. And there's the photos of all the guys that were in the Blues Project. So yeah, it's just a nice compilation highlighting, you know, some of the bigger songs that they had. There was on the Verve label right there. So yeah, this is in really good shape. Better shape than my originals of the Blues Project. But anyway, I'm still keeping them because they're playable. They're just not in top-notch shape. All right, back to some vintage country and western. There he is. It's the possum himself. It is George Jones. This was his second work with Billy Sherrill, who I've mentioned before. The Nashville sound. He just the I don't know what you call it, orchestral country. He brought all the strings in and backup vocals by the Jordanaires, who had sung backup for Elvis Presley. Just a real lush sound, and this is unmistakably Billy Sherrill production on this. You can see there he is right there. And there's George, just all contemplative, like, when am I going to start drinking today? Big decisions. So this one, again, it's just George. It's solo here with the band. Nothing Ever Hurt Me Half as Bad as Losing You. Love Lives Again. Made for the Blues is a really good one on here too. And What's Your Mama's Name was a big single. You hear that if you've ever heard it before, it'll immediately click in. So yeah, and this is actually a promo copy right here. Again, these were all in really good shape. Usually a lot of the older, when you find country stuff, originals, it's all bashed to rat shit, messed up, scratched, warped, whatever. Not this. There's the Epic label. But yeah, so just there it's George Jones. So yeah, it was nice that she, it was probably 3 large milk crates, and it was all vintage country and western stuff, and I kind of think I got the best of it. There was a lot of junk, but then I got the good stuff again. There's a shot of the contemplative George Jones, deep in thought right there. All right, Dave Dudley. If you're a trucker, you'd dig this. It's Oh Lonesome Me. This is just a collection of songs in 1968. Of course, Oh Lonesome Me was originally done by another country guy, Don Gibson. There's Dave Dudley. Looks like he's hanging out. I don't know if he's hitchhiking with his guitar, but he should be driving a truck because all these songs are about trucking. But most of these are all ballads on this one. Oh Lonesome Me is probably the peppiest number on this. It does a cover of Coffee Coffee. That's a Tom T. Hall song on here. Journey to the Center of Your Heart. That's a nice ballad. Again, that's another one written by Tom T. Hall. And yeah, so it's just, it's nice. I like it. I do dig me some Dave Dudley. Good drinking tunes. Get your honky tonk on. All right, speaking of Tom T. Hall, I got this one too. There's a nice sketch of the man right there on the back. He was more known as a songwriter for other people, but of course he was a singer and songwriter on his own. And you can see here in 1973, voted Songwriter of the Year by the Nashville Songwriters Association, because he cranked out tunes for a lot of people, including George Jones. So yeah, this one, 1973, the release date on it. What's some of the key? Ravishing Ruby was a hit for him on this one. I Flew Over Our House Last Night. And Too Many Do-Goods, that's a funny one too. And Old Five and Dimers Like Me, which is the actual title track right there. You can see right there. So yeah, this is good too. Storyteller, sometimes it's a bit of that, almost feels like spoken word, where he slows it down and he it's almost like reading a poem. Cool Mercury logo on the inside. Again, the jacket on this one looks like it's been dragged through a couple of war zones, as I say, but the record, once cleaned, plays perfectly. I've played all of these, and some of them, like I said, like the Paul Glazer, I've played a couple of those 2 or 3 times already. So yeah, Tom T. Hall right there, 1973. Just a quick video for you on a Saturday. Get your honky tonk on with a little blues sprinkled in for good measure. So I hope you're having a good Saturday, whatever you're up to. I had my beach day yesterday. Today I'm just hanging around the homestead. We're just laying low, but it's a nice day, so probably spend some time outside in the yard, of course. And I got my run in this morning before the heat kicked in. So things are looking up for a Saturday midday. So yeah, as usual, just leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video, and there'll always be another video. So I'll see you next time.